The word financial advisor, that sounds like something for rich people. I don't have any money to invest.
You got to start somewhere. Even $20 counts. No one's ever going to feel perfectly ready to get started. Of course, these things aren't taught in school. Learning how to invest feels like a foreign language.
What are the most common mistakes you see that investors make?
Panic selling when markets are down and emotions are high. Trying to time the market is kind of like trying to predict the weather 3 months out. It's really, all based on your appetite for risk. And some people like the roller coasters, other people want the kiddie rides.
What is the value in building a consistent investing habit?
Consistency takes the emotion out of the process. When you automate your investment, it almost becomes just like another bill, except this bill is going to pay you.
Welcome back, Dan Gouveia with the Gouveia Real Estate team. So today's topic is about something that affects us all: money, planning, and what we do today to shape our future. So whether you're looking to build wealth, protect what you have, or just make smarter financial decisions, this conversation is for you. So joining me today is Kallie from Peroni Financial Group. Kallie, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Thank you. I was talking to you earlier about this, and just starting off, it's like when I first got into the workplace, which a lot of people probably felt this way, is living paycheck to paycheck. When I heard the word financial advisor, not only did I not know what it was, but I says, that sounds like something for rich people. And just trying to make ends meet. I'm like, well, I don't have any money to invest, so why bother meeting a financial advisor, sitting down and going over things with them? So I feel like a lot of people probably don't really understand what one does, and so why do you think so many people are intimidated by investing, and how can we simplify that for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of times growing up, of course, these things aren't taught in school, but also we're just taught how to learn money. So growing your money is a different conversation. And I think that's why as adults, learning how to invest feels like a foreign language.
Right.
So the key is really, simplifying the investing, sticking to the basics, and being consistent, and just kind of focusing on the long-term goals and knowing that you have a plan in place.
What does one do when if they just have a little bit of money to start? I mean, can they start with a little bit of money, I guess? What's the first step?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to start somewhere. So, even $20 is better than nothing. That counts.
Yeah.
So like I said, if you kind of create these habits from a young age, as income and assets grow over the years, you'll just naturally be able to, contribute more.
Yep.
But, if it's kind of part of your daily living, and consistently investing is always going to be the right time, because no one's ever going to feel perfectly ready to get started.
So why do they say time in the market beats time and trying to time the market?
Trying to time the market is kind of like trying to predict the weather 3 months out. Sounds great, but the results are not going to be good.
Right.
So when you talk about compounding interest and how money compounds, if you're consistently kind of putting money away to something and letting it compound over time, it's going to be better than the guessing game, every single time.
Yeah. I experienced that myself. I just opened up a money market account because I refinanced the property that I own. I did a cash refi on an investment property, and I just put it into a high yielding money market account I'm looking at. I get my statement every month. I'm like, wow, this is great. This is better than just leaving it in the bank account, regular bank account. So I'm starting to learn the powerful effects of compounding interest. How do you help clients understand risk and matching the right strategy?
I try and explain to clients that risk isn't just about danger. What it is helping you understand what you're invested in, and then based on your personality, what's your appetite for the market up and downs. So it's really, all based on your appetite for risk, and some people like the roller coasters, other people want the kiddie rides.
Yeah.
So when we're choosing risk tolerance, we're looking at what are you comfortably, able to invest in over the years, without worrying.
And I guess that certainly would matter how old you are too, right? What stage you are at in your life.
Right.
So how would things be different for someone in their 20s and 30s thinking about investing in risk and time, rate of return and time and all that, versus someone that might be in their 50s or even 60s that might feel like, well, they might be more cautious. I don't know.
Right.
What do you feel with different age groups?
Great question.
Yeah.
People that are in 20s, 30s, 40s, you have a lot of time until retirement, a lot of working years.
Yeah.
So what that means is you have time to recover from the market, downs. So you really have to be comfortable, at those younger years, kind of setting and forgetting it and letting your money ride the wave of the market, knowing that with time, your average rate of return will probably be, anywhere between 7 and 9%.
Yeah.
As you get closer towards retirement, of course, those accumulation years are slowing down and you're starting to look at, the distribution phase.
Yeah.
So it's, most recommended to kind of be a little bit more conservative.
Right.
Because once you retire, have a down market affects your sequence of returns, a lot faster.
Yeah. I definitely feel like I took more risk when I was younger, and I kind of, not get down on myself, but I kind of get upset myself nowadays because I still like to take risks, but I feel like my risks are less because of, when you're younger, you feel like you got a lot of room for error. You can rebound, you get time to rebound, and you're just, I don't know, just you're less fearful, I guess, right? Is that normal?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally normal. Money is stressful to begin with, especially when you start think of, slowing down. And once you're retired, every day is like vacation. So you're going to be spending more.
That sounds nice.
But absolutely.
So besides retirement, what are some other reasons why people should be investing?
Yeah, so money really gives you freedom and options. And what that means is throughout your lifetime, you're going to have options to buy a home, invest, go on a nice vacation, maybe take a break from your career.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just the peace of mind of knowing that you're prepared and you have a plan in place.
What are the most common mistakes you see that investors make?
Panic selling when markets are down and emotions are high.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Listening to the finfluencers out there, kind of the hot tips.
Yeah.
I think another big one is trying to get rich quick. Everyone wants these quick fixes.
Amazon money, quick, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then, falling for scams, paying too much in fees. There's a lot of different mistakes that people make. So, what we try and encourage is having a conversation, kind of getting that little bit of education to be able to avoid some of these, problems.
So during some of those panic situations, you'll get more phone calls.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I tell people, like,
how do those
anytime you're making
conversations
these
go?
money decisions, where we want to be the first person you call. Because, two minds is better than one. So.
Right. And we have the experience, and you've been
Right, yeah,
been
we're
through it
the
before.
experts. Let us at least give you the advice, and ultimately it's your final decision. But
Yeah, makes sense. So what is the value in building a consistent investing habit?
consistency takes the emotion out of the process. I like to try and explain to my clients, when you automate your investments, it almost becomes just like another bill, except this bill is going to pay you.
Yeah.
So over time, those small regular contributions grow into something big.
Yep.
It's kind of boring strategy, but it's the most effective one.
And how do you personalize a plan instead of just using a cookie cutter approach?
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time getting to know our clients. Everyone has different goals, different incomes, different, kind of appetites for risk and comfortability.
Yeah.
So the question always is, what's most important to you? What matters to you most?
Yeah.
And then, we're creating these plans based off of, what's most important to our clients and making sure that strategies align, with those short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of my favorite months is December for a lot of reasons. Spending time with loved ones, enjoying the holidays, maybe taking a little time away from work just to kind of like, you're in the holiday mood and so forth. And it's just a nice month to reflect. A lot of business people are doing business planning, or even on a personal level, people are making personal plans and goals, how to, make next year better, right? And I just feel like it gives you the time to reflect. How did I do this year? What are the goals I met? What goals didn't I meet? What can I do next year to meet those goals? How can I change the trajectory of my path?
Right.
So I think I feel like you can't really go forward sometimes unless you know where you've been, and the forecasting of that is helpful when you reflect on where you've been. So now you know where you're going to go. So December for me is huge. I love it. Just finished up my business plan now, and I feel like a lot of the audience out there is probably doing a lot of the same thing. I'm sure a lot of your clients are. They probably involve you in their business planning or the personal planning and things like that. So talking about planning, I'm sure this month is busy for you guys because you've got clients that really want to get that in place. Because there's something about getting a plan in place by the end of December.
Absolutely.
So January, you don't want to do it in January 6th. Like to me, I'm like, no, I don't want it done then.
Yep.
I want it done in December. It's just a mental thing.
Right.
Because January 1st, I want to just hit the ground running hard, you know.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people start their planning in like September, October even, you know. So that's what I like about December, and I think it's just a great time to like restart, you know.
Right. Yeah, we spend a lot of time with our clients, doing that. Yeah. It's not just the financial piece of thing, but kind of that multi-dimensional success, looking at, your personal life, and, seeing what worked this year, what didn't work.
Yeah.
And then going forward, how can we be a little bit better, 1% better or 1 degree better? That's how I like to say it.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. You get to probably enjoy a lot of those wins with your clients with you because you're part of it. So they won and you won. You get to see them win. There's gratification in that. We met our goals. Like, awesome, right? Well, what are we going to do next year?
Right.
So, it's a little bit of a celebration time too for the hard work you guys did all year. So what should people expect from a good financial advisor besides returns?
Education, clarity, partnership. I think the biggest thing is the relationship with your clients and helping them understand their plan, not just selling them a product. It's really easy, for some other advisors or agents to simply, kind of just push certain products because that's what they're licensed for.
Yeah.
But in my world, I'm truly able to get to know the client, understand what's most important to them, and kind of create a plan based around that. And another thing is just like the teaching, the simplifying. Most people want to have some level of control.
Sure.
And what that means is that's the education piece of it. That's the, the learning that we didn't learn in the school systems.
Yeah.
So what can we do to educate our clients, inspire them to make good decisions, confident decisions, and then create kind of this peace of mind of knowing that they have a plan in place and they also have this trusted person to rely on, whether good or bad happens in their world.
Just like my business of real estate sales and investing and helping clients, and I'm sure with you as well, that, they have so much information at their fingertips, they're coming to you like, well, I read online, so you have to also work through that. You have to guide through all the information they're hearing from other sources. So how do you kind of deal with that?
Yeah, one of the questions we always ask people is, kind of who's helped you make these decisions so far? So it's either, like you said, ChatGPT or, different influencers online. But a lot of times it's parents or an uncle or a family member. And, that's all well and fine. At least there's someone, throughout their lifetime that's given them a little guidance.
Yeah.
But, I always try and tell people we're the experts. This is what we do on a daily basis. So it's really easy to kind of take what we tell you, go home, research it, and see the good and the bad, or the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
But if you're not, doing things a certain way, or, taking advantage of their benefits, then of course, there's things that could be good or bad. But I think in general, it's just having the expert. When you have a medical problem, you go to the doctor. When you have a tax problem, you go to the accountant. So anything to do with money is really, trusting and knowing an advisor.
That makes sense. That kind of struck a chord when you said that, because I deal with that in my business as well, is where you have family members that a lot of times make our clients fearful of their experience, right? I bought a house that, had a sump pump and we got flooded, right? Whatever the case is, in good intentions, they're trying to protect them with their experiences, or just their process of whether it's buying real estate or investing. It's just things change, So I deal with clients sometimes, and they're, they might have family members that bought a house 30 years ago. Well, obviously, it's a lot different buying a house now than 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are different, but they get that influence from their loved ones, and there's nothing wrong with it because they're trying to protect them. Totally. But they also have to be open-minded to work with a professional like yourself to really know the market nowadays. How are things now, versus how they were years ago, and where are things going in the future. Definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you said it. The open-minded is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, be open-minded, kind of have a conversation,
Right.
listen to, how we may be able to help. If it
Yeah.
resonates
Yeah.
and you find value in it, fantastic.
Yeah.
If not, timing does matter with people. If they don't feel ready, then, that's okay.
Yeah.
But there's always something that you could be doing, slightly better or a little bit differently to
Right.
achieve, better success. So it's our job to kind of figure out where are those gaps and holes in your current plan,
Yep.
and then how can we help you be better?
Like any professional, how would the audience go about picking or researching and picking the right financial advisor? I mean, you got certainly reviews and online. For us, it might be Zillow. But what kind of sources can someone go to online and just kind of like, what are some pointers for them to like kind of research before they reach out to a financial advisor to set an appointment?
Sure, yeah. So I think everyone's firm and philosophy is a little bit different.
Yeah.
As you said, you can go online, you can look at reviews, you can look at a website, you can look at social media, but the best way is really to have a conversation with different advisors and almost be interviewing them yourself.
That's true, yeah.
Because it's hard to understand the philosophy and process until you kind of take that initial step and have a conversation.
Yeah. And that's something to
and-
compare it to
Right.
as well.
And
Yeah.
then you can go back and kind of compare. I think the biggest thing, at least for me in any relationship, is it a personality match?
Yeah.
Do I feel, the trust, the credibility, that does take time.
Yeah.
But, from a couple minutes of conversation with someone, I can typically tell, does my personality and goals kind of align with their
Right.
process?
No, it's important you say that because I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't interview multiple people on certain things.
Right.
They just want it done. Let's just go this route, and then they might regret that they didn't do their homework. They might only meet with one realtor before selling the property. They might only meet with one financial advisor. They might only get one estimate from a carpenter on the deck, right? So they have nothing to compare it to.
Right.
And take the notes. So I think that's good advice for the consumers out there is to talk to a few, do your homework, try to get that feel, like you said. I feel like a lot of people make decisions based on how they feel and the trust in the person, which that's important, but they also got to go a step further and really check their background and just their experience. Because you can vibe with someone, but it doesn't mean that they're competent to do the best job for you too.
Right. Yeah, you got to do all your homework.
yeah,
So that's a
yeah,
little bit of diving a little bit deeper, looking at experience, looking at their licenses and certifications. And I mean, I think testimonials are a great, great thing as well. But
Social media.
social media, yeah, lots of good content out there.
Yeah, so we hope, hopefully brought you guys some good content today. You can certainly follow up with us if you have any additional questions. Hope this was helpful. I was super excited. I feel like every time I get to, talk to someone, I always learn something, which is great. And I appreciate you being here today. And how would someone get a hold of you if they had any further questions?
Yeah, so the best way to get a hold of me is by email. It's Kallie, Kallie, at Peroni, Peroni, financialgroup.com. I also am on LinkedIn, Kallie Rosenbach, and the website is peroniFinancialGroup.com. So a couple ways to find me online, but also Dan has my contact. So
Yeah, just reach
you
out
can
to
always
us and
put
we'll
us
hook you
in
guys
touch
up.
as well.
Yeah, great. It was great having you today.
Awesome.
Thanks for all your help.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dan.
it, and
Appreciate
happy
you
holidays.
having me. Happy holidays to you and your family as well.
Thank you, guys. That's it. Follow for more information in the future, and thanks for joining us.